recording keeps on. All right. Well, everybody, welcome, and thank you again for joining us with today's program for the next installment of the Maximum Performance webinar series. And for those of you who are first-time attendees of this program, we started this project back in October of last year as a weekly series to try and bring you high-quality content, powerful ideas, concepts, and tools that are going to help you take your business to a whole other level in a massively shorter period of time, and that's why we call it the Maximum Performance Series. Our guest presenter today is none other than illustrious coach, Mr. Brad Korn, who comes to us via the real estate industry. Brad and I have known each other, I guess, since about 2007. When he started coming on board as a coach with the Maximum Acceleration team. But before meeting Brad, he was a very successful, and is still today, a very, very successful real estate agent and coach for the Keller Williams MAPS coaching system. Is also a popular speaker and author all across the country. You know, geez, how many tens of thousands of realtors and loan officers have you taught over the years, Brad? I don't even know. I've lost count. But I'll tell you guys that there are very few agents in the country who do the kind of volume that he does. His team has consistently closed an average of over 100 loans a year the last 10 years in a row through the concepts, ideas, and tools that he's going to share with all of you today. But he's also been coaching hundreds of loan originators and mortgage professionals over the last 8 years through the Maximum Acceleration system. So not only is he a top-notch real estate coach, he is also a top-notch mortgage coach. So I think you guys are going to get a very powerful experience from today's presenter. And so without further ado, Brad, I'm going to give the reins to you. Let you run with it for today. How's that sound?
Sounds perfect. All right, guys. First of all, for those of you who we might have lost on the first slide already, real estate agents aren't doing loans yet. It was real estate transactions, but Eric is in the loan world. You had said I had done 100 loans, so I just had to pick on you, Eric.
Sorry about that.
I knew they knew what it meant, which just brings me right to the point that I want to kick this off, guys. Here's all the fun stuff about me. I've got a lot of accolades. I've been involved in real estate for 21 years. I'm a trainer for Keller Williams. I've done a lot of speaking and training across the U.S. and Canada. I've spoken in front of thousands. I mean, I think the last time was 6,000 people at a Keller Williams event. So I coach people, and here's the thing I really want you to get out of today, is that I am a guy who's been out there in the field and still out there in the field today doing what we're talking about today. That's why I'm sitting here teaching it today. It is something that I've always held on to as a trainer and a coach, that I never want to lose touch with what is really happening out there in the world. And following that, I want you guys also to understand that I am not going to share anything with you today that I have not personally done myself, that I have not taken all the way from conception to inception, if you want to put it that way. These are things that I have implemented into my business, and it has really, truly helped my business through the good market to the bad market do a consistent business and get off the roller coaster ride. As far as I know, mortgage officers get to ride the same dang roller coaster ride that real estate agents do. So I'm here today to just share 4 simple steps as a part of a process and a system that you guys are going to get one piece of it today that you can actually apply to your business. This is not a webinar where we're just going to give you the Cloud 9 surface view and then you got to buy the rest of the system. I'm going to give you the system that you can start using today, and trust me on this. If you guys do these 4 simple steps in your business, and this is all you do from this webinar, you apply these 4 simple steps, I believe you have the opportunity to double or triple your business this year. And that's without doing anything else. That's if you truly take this information and put it into place. Now, the challenging thing is we got a lot of information coming at us all the time, and everybody's always looking for the next great thing that's going to make them $1 million. So I'm also going to preface this by saying that what I'm going to share with you today, there's not any really new concepts in here, but what I can promise you is I'm going to open your awareness level up to a whole new awareness level of these concepts that you've heard before, but it's going to look totally new, and you guys are going to be jazzed when you hear this because it's so simple. I'm in the Midwest. Well, so is Eric. He's in the capital of Missouri, and I'm in Kansas City. And I tell you what, a lot of smart people are born in the Midwest, Eric. I don't know if you realize that, but I think we got lucky that we were born here. No, I'm just kidding. But the thing is that this stuff, I look for simple, and I'm a systems freak. I like to build systems. So what you guys are going to find out about today is really, really good, simple stuff that every single person on this call can apply right after the webinar. So here's my first question to you guys. How's your current follow-up system working? Because as I coach people and professionals, whether they're real estate agents, loan officers, or even business people, I keep finding that there's just missing things, or we feel like, you know, man, I just got to do a better job of keeping in touch with people. When you meet people, you do a great job. You deliver great service. And I'm not saying you don't have some TikTok clients. We've all got those too. But we all have bumps in the road, and we all experience the same thing. So one of my realtor friends shot me this email just like yesterday, I think it was. Yeah, because I did a webinar yesterday for a class that I'm teaching on this particular topic. And here was the quote. It was from Jim Rohn. If you don't design your own life plan, chances are you'll fall into someone else's plan. How many of you feel that way so far? And then the last part of that is, and guess what? They have planned for you. Not much. Guys, it is time to take control of your business, take control of your relationships. Real estate, whether it's mortgage, whether it's real estate, financial planning, CPA, they are local businesses. It is who you know and do they know you. So that's the kind of stuff we're going to cover today. And I wanted to cover some things that will really hit home for what you guys are struggling with out there. And I say struggling, but really on a daily basis, you guys really aren't struggling. I mean, this is just kind of a daily thing that happens that we don't even realize how bad it really is. And I found this on a website, and I should have popped that on there what it was. It was a database or contact management website, and if you Google some of these statistics, you can probably figure out who they are. But they really nailed it with these statistics. This is what and this is from personal experience as well in my real estate business. The quote is, 86% of consumers quit doing business with a company because of bad customer experience. Now, here's where we got to be careful on how we interpret things. I want you guys to really just, everybody breathe in and breathe out and be open to just hearing some new concepts. Don't run it through your filter. Don't run it through your glasses that you've been looking through for all these years. I just want you to be open and hear things and with nothing on them other than what they are. So listen to this. 86% of customers quit doing business with people because of a bad customer experience. Well, what this was talking about was like follow-up service, calling for questions afterwards, not getting called back, being on hold forever. And you know what? A lot of times we do the same thing. We slam dunk a close through, or in these days, I don't know if we can call it slam dunk. I know what you guys are going through. But when you get that close, we're not really available for them afterwards to stay in touch with them for the most part, okay? But look over on the side. Keep in mind that a typical business hears from only 4% of dissatisfied customers. This is why I put this slide in here. I've seen this in my real estate business, that when I get a call from an upset client because of one of my team members or a buyer's agent or whatever, or even when I've done something wrong, a lot of times I have a good enough relationship that they'll call me and tell me if they're upset about something because they know I'll fix it. And the thing is every time we get one of those calls, my wife and I both sit around and talk about what just happened and how to fix it, and then we go, you know what's sad is that's probably 1 out of 10 that we actually heard from. Well, it's 4 out of 10. Or actually, it's less than that. That would be, actually, you guys are going to find out just how good I am at math here in a minute. I got to use a calculator. I really got a super deal for you guys at the end of this thing. It's not something that you have to do. It's just available for you, and I really messed up on the math, but you'll hear that in a little bit. Anyway, 4% will actually call and let them know. That is a scary number. Here's another one. When you do provide great support, now support is after the sale. Okay? It's not that any of you are delivering bad service. I don't know that any of you, if you're on this webinar, you're not going into work every day deciding how you can sabotage a deal. You're putting every best effort forward to deliver great service. And then when we do an okay job, or even better yet, when there is an issue that comes up, and you use your expertise to solve it and not play up on that to let them know that this thing almost fell apart and you kept it together, and then keep in touch reminding them that forever for after the sale. That's where this kind of came from, the great support. 8 out of 10 U.S. consumers say they would pay more if they were insured superior customer service. And guys, I got to tell you, in the real estate world, I'm like a dinosaur, so dinosaur that what we charge for a listing commission is higher than pretty much every agent across the country. Add 1% to 2% to what other agents are charging, and you've probably figured out what my commission is. But because there might be some real estate agents on here, I'm not going to mention any amounts because that is we can't do that. It's against the rules. So, but what I'm saying is, selling 100 houses a year, people will pay for superior customer service, and they know you're going to stay in touch with them, let them know what's going on, and all that stuff. And then there was another one, too. About 78% of online customers recommend a brand to friends and other contacts after a great experience. So here's what's even more scary. The 78% right there is how many times do we not stay in touch with somebody after a sale that pretty soon you're going to fade away in the distance and they're going to forget about you, when 78% said they'd refer. These are some scary numbers here that we're just missing out on. 80% of companies believe they deliver superior customer service. Goes back to what I just said. You guys don't go into work trying to sabotage a deal. You're doing everything you can to make these people's dream come true, to get their payment lower in a refi or get into their dream home. And you guys actually get to service a lot of different people. This is what I love about being a real estate agent working on coaching in the mortgage industry, is I really get to bring that other side of the table. There's absolutely no reason realtors and mortgage companies or mortgage officers shouldn't be working together. I mean, it's the craziest partnership in the world, yet we all avoid each other. I don't get it. But look at the other side. 8% of customers think these same companies deliver superior customer service. So if any of these numbers had just kind of ring a bell with you, I really want you to pay attention to today's webinar and have an open mind to some old concepts, but a whole new meaning and a whole new definition. Because, guys, let me tell you, if there's a shortcut or an easy way to do something, this is it. It's the easiest way you're going to get. And I'm going to back that up by just saying, as a coach, easy, it's not easy, it's simple. Whenever I say the word easy, it's not easy to pick up the phone and call all your past clients when you haven't talked to them for 2 years. It is really simple to do, and I'm going to share with you some tactics or some systems that you can put in place to do that. So let's go back. Here's the thing. You guys, if you've heard Brad Korn speak before, you've seen this before. People like working with people they know. So what I want to preface before I go any further on these 4 simple steps that can actually double or triple your business this year is I want you to understand that I'm not telling you to stop doing what you're doing now. Okay, let me say that again. Whatever you've been doing to get the business that you've gotten so far, don't stop doing it. This is a way to amplify the results in a huge way. In fact, the numbers actually show that you can get 6 times more business from the same people that you're meeting now, doing it the way you've been doing it, and just plug this one piece in and complement. So if you're doing any type of print ads, keep doing it. If you're doing any type of mass marketing, keep doing it. If you're doing any type of web marketing, keep doing it, as long as a smart business person, you've tracked it and you're getting a return on your investment. So nowhere along here should you hear me say at all, you should quit doing this and do this system. What I'm saying is plug this system into what you're already doing, and you can get 6 times more results. So here are the 4 simple steps. And this is one of the ongoing things that, as a coach, Eric and I hear this all the time. Every coach does. Even in the real estate industry, the other coaches that I work with, you hear it over and over and over again. In my class yesterday, it was the same thing. You know, I need to stay in touch with my database better, or I haven't talked to my past clients as regularly as I should. And guys, really, picking up the phone or hopping in your car and driving over to somebody's office to see them, or even as simple as sitting down and writing a handwritten note, For some reason, we think we're being unproductive when we do those things, or that we can be more productive getting our desk cleaned off, getting our files organized so that we can get paid. So what I want you to keep track of, these 4 simple steps, and what's even better is I already can tell you they're not easy to do, but I'm going to share the steps that you can put in place to automate the personal touch so that it is easy, that you don't even have to think about it. The system will run the business for you. Guys, that is how I am doing 100 sales on average for the last 8 years straight. From the good market to the bad market, my computer is like a $50,000 a year assistant keeping me on track to keep the personal touch going. And guys, when I get busy or I quit working on this system, my business starts to take a dip and that roller coaster ride starts to show up. The cool thing is that the dips, the first hill on the roller coaster ride doesn't exist. Now, I've still got little bumps here and there, but now I can recognize them a lot quicker when my system's got a hole in it. So here's the 4 simple steps. I'm going to show you how to send out a reconnect letter. This reconnect letter, I'm going to show you in detail what it looks like. But if you send this letter to all of your past clients, now you're only going to do a few a day, okay? Because if you have 100 past clients in your database, and I have you send out 100 reconnect letters and then make 100 phone calls in 3 or 4 days, here's what I can guarantee you. 99.9% of you will get about the first 10 or 15 calls done, and then you're done. Business is going to hit you. Life is going to hit you. These 4 simple steps will not affect anything that you are currently doing, no matter how busy you are right now. If you just implement these little steps, they will not cause you stress because you're adding too many more things on your plate. This is really simple to do. It takes maybe 30 minutes to an hour each day if you could just carve that out. We're going to talk about making that a habit too. So a reconnect letter that's going to set up the phone call. Here's what's cool. They're going to be waiting for your call, and they're going to be so anxious to hear from you, you're just not even going to believe me until it happens. Then you're going to make a phone call to touch base with them, and we're going to talk in detail on that. You're going to write a handwritten note, and I'm going to tell you how to make this note masterful and powerful. It's not just a regular note that if I told you all to pull out a note card and write it right now, it's not going to be that kind of a note. This is going to be an on-purpose note. And then the last step is to start the next plan, and we're going to show you how to automate that. So let me start out the first thing. Now, understand all of these simple steps can be set up in the right contact management system. If you have a database that holds addresses and phone numbers with no campaigns or plan managers or any of that kind of stuff, it's going to be pretty manual, and it's not going to be a fun process. When you get a correct contact management system that helps you manage your contacts, a lot of those have these automated action plans or campaigns or things that you can create. So this is going to be a simple 4-step campaign that you can create. And this is one of the things that we teach in that course I was telling you about, and I'll mention it at the end of the call because there is an opportunity. If you guys really like what you hear and you want to take it to the next level, it's available for you. But like I said, if you just do these things, I promise you, your business will double or triple this year. So here's the letter. The reconnect letter is so simple. Don't change it a whole lot. There actually are about 2 or 3 different versions of this letter that you're going to create, but there's going to be some things that on your notes I want you to make a star next to. So here's the first thing. The first paragraph will change a little bit depending on if you're sending it to past clients or if you're sending it to family members that you haven't talked to for a while or just general acquaintances from like church or old network groups. Oh, man. You use this with a network group, guys, it is out of control. David Kuiper, we're going to replay his webinar next week where he talks about the financial planners and the CPAs. Here's what is so cool about this reconnect letter for you guys. This is truly why I get excited about coaching loan officers. See, in real estate, I can gain one spot for my business, and that's real estate. If somebody's buying or selling real estate, they'll think of the Korn team in Kansas City. But mortgage officers get a whole bunch of extra slots. They get the real estate agent, the real estate agent's, well, I should say your clients, the buyers, right? The refis and the sellers or homeowners. You get financial planners and CPAs that David's going to talk about how you build those alliances. You guys realize that if you've heard my webinars in the past where we're talking about the drip systems and buying brain cells and becoming the Nike, Lay's, and Crest of the industry, do you realize that as mortgage officers, in all the years I've been coaching, what I figured out, you guys get the whole money spot. The money spot is financial planners, CPAs, mortgage, refi, I mean, you name it, home equity loans. You guys get to buy that whole entire spot in somebody's brain, because who the heck is running around buying brain cells for home equity lines of credit, right? They just do it in their bank when they're depositing a check. Guys, you can own the whole money side of everything. In fact, if you play this right, because the majority of real estate agents aren't doing this, you can actually own their business as well and give it back to them. I mean, you want referral business from the real estate industry, provide them business, and maybe it's their own business. That's a whole nother topic there. But I've had my coaching clients actually get realtors to hand them their entire database because they're doing such a great job of these 4 simple steps and the follow-up process that they basically take over their database. And I know some of you on the phone might be sitting here thinking, what realtor is going to give me their database? What financial planner? They can't. Financial planners legally can't give me their database. Guys, let me tell you, I'm going to go back to the beginning of the call. I'm not going to share anything with you that I haven't seen done myself or helped somebody do, okay? It's being done. Trust me. So, okay, let me get back to the reconnect letter, because this is this is what sets up you going through the database. I'm going to share with you how simple it is to pull all this off. So the first thing that goes out is a letter that just says, hey, I was thinking of you. I realized I haven't kept in touch with you very well, and I've decided that I want to stay in touch better. So in that letter, it just basically says, I'm going to follow up with you in the next few days to see how you and your family are doing. Can't wait to talk to you. So here's your notes. That bottom box, sincerely, where it says, P.S., I will be calling you in the next few days to touch base and say hi. Guys, do not take this piece out of the letter. Do not, do not, do not, okay? Trust me on this. Do not take it out, because as you stuff 5 of these in an envelope every single day and mail them out to your database, as you see that P.S. on that note, I promise you that will be the anchoring point to make sure you make 5 calls in 3 days, and then make 5 calls 3 days after that, and make 5 calls 3 days after that, and make 5 calls 3 days after that. Every day you put this letter in an envelope, or if you see it go in the envelope and you know it says, P.S., I'm going to call you in the next few days, I'm telling you, they're going to be waiting for your call, okay? So here's the call. I found this funny graphic. Glad we had a chance to talk today when you accidentally called my number. Isn't that what you guys feel like when you're picking up the phone calling past clients? It's like something in our brain tells us that we can't call them because they're going to think, oh my gosh, he's trying to sell me something. So we just skip the call, and we just add them on some cool mailer that they're going to get some cool letter in the mail, and maybe they'll call us if my headline's good enough or my call to action is good enough. So see, right there is where I want to jump in here for a second. Take a break. I'm not telling you to not send out things with great headlines and great calls to action. Those things work, but they work at a low conversion rate, like a 0.5% conversion rate. What I'm going to show you guys today is more of a 12-to-2 conversion rate. It's a 6 times more conversion rate from the same group of people by getting back into the personal touch. You guys post on there and say, hey, you like what you're hearing so far? Is this good? Is the pace good? Are you guys all hanging with me? Let me know you're all there and that everybody can hear me. I actually lost people in my class the other day, so I wanted to make sure I'm all good. Okay, so here's the thing about the call. You guys want me to make this real simple for you? Here's how you make the call. Send 5 letters, because then you only have to make 5 calls in 3 days, okay? Send 5 letters the next day and the next day and the next day. You're only making 5 calls a day. If you have 100 people in your database, do you know how long that will take you to get through your database? Oh my gosh, it'll take you 1 month. 1 month to personally touch 100 people in your database. If you have 1,000 people in your database, and this is a point I want to make very clear to everybody. If you have 1,000 people in your database, it will take you 10 months if you do 5 a day, every day, 5 days a week. So if you slack off a couple of months' worth, This is a one-year project for 1,000 people in your database. Now, if you have 5,000 people in your database, guys, you can either make 10 calls a day, and it's going to take you 2.5 years, or just make the 5 calls a day and let this be your 5-year project. And I ask this question of everybody who attends my classes and seminars and coaching. How many of you, this is your retirement year? You are getting out of the mortgage business. We're done. This is year end. I'm out. So whatever Brad's teaching me has to happen in the next 8 months or 9 months, right? Probably not. How many of you are getting out next year, or like intending to, okay? How many of you getting out next year? Probably not. How many of you are planning on sticking around for the next 5 or 10 or 15 years if this mortgage thing works out for you? Guys, 5 a day on a 5,000 person database, what if you invested that 5 a day for the next 5 years? What would your business look like from year 5 to year 10? What would it look like from year 10 to year 20? Holy smokes, go 20 plus, you're sitting on a beach somewhere collecting checks. That's what it looks like when you personally touch 5 people a day. So here's your easy tip. This is, well, simple tip. Actually, it's easy too. This is the one easy thing you've got. You are not allowed to talk about mortgages when you call them. Okay, now I've got a stipulation here that I want to make clear. But this is a way to trick your brain to actually pick up the phone and call them. So here's how it looks. You send them a letter. Hey, I was thinking of you, realized I haven't kept in touch. P.S. I'll call you the next few days, want to see how you're doing. So the phone call pops up 3 days later in your system, says, hey, how you doing? It's Brad. Just want to touch base with you guys. How you doing? Did you get my letter? Oh, yeah, Brad, we got your letter. It was so great to hear from you. That's what you're going to hear 99% of the time, okay? So they're going to say, oh, it's great to hear from you. How's everything going? Great. How's the mortgage industry, or how's the real estate business? And this is what you say. You know, I do appreciate you asking, but that really wasn't the purpose of my call today. It's going to come up in that phone conversation somewhere. So that's not the purpose of my call today. I just realized I hadn't stayed in touch with you guys. Okay, so for some of you, let me stop for a minute. I'm losing you because you're taught to always ask for business, always ask for referrals, blah, blah, blah. You are going to do all that stuff. You're going to set up a new system that reminds you to call them once every, well, the first time around, you're going to call them every 4 weeks twice. For 2 months, you're going to call them twice in the next 2 months after this phone call. And then you're going to call them 4 more times a year. And your system is going to remind you to do that, okay? So the first call, you don't have to worry about selling them anything. That's why you're not calling them now. So please just enjoy the call. Listen to them. Take notes. What are the kids doing? Are they going to college? Guys, this is the setup for your next call. This is where you will find the need. Now, if they say, oh, my gosh, we've got 3 kids going to college next year, don't switch into your mortgage gear yet, okay? Your mortgage scripts. Don't start, oh, great, we got a great college program. No. Now, here's the one caveat. What you're doing is trying to get information about them, what they're doing, what are they doing for hobbies. Just have a general conversation. Some of these will last a minute. Some of them will last 3 minutes. Some of them will last 5 minutes. Some will last 15 minutes. Who cares? You're only doing 5. It might take a half an hour. It might take an hour to do this. The one stipulation when you can talk about mortgage, and I think you guys are all sharp enough to figure this out because you're on a webinar right now, investing in your business and getting additional training to get better. But you guys will know this. If they say, oh my gosh, Richie, it's unbelievable that you called us today. We just found out we're getting relocated and we've got to, get a new mortgage for our new house or something like that, whatever it might be. Or they just say, we just found out we're getting relocated, and you have a relationship with a realtor built up that you can get the business for them as well. Or they say, we actually were just talking to somebody about trying to drop our interest rate down. We didn't even think about calling you. Those are the one times where you go, well, that's why I called today. My ears were burning, and I knew I needed to pick up the phone and call. That's when you get to switch into mortgage mode. Now, here's another key piece to this working, is writing the handwritten note. No, there's not enough people writing handwritten notes. If you've heard me speak, I talk about the note. But I want to take this to the mastery level, guys. This is where you can really leverage this piece. If you're reading that note that's on the screen right now, something you will find that's not in that note is the words I, me, or my. okay? This note, the first note, the first call and the first note are called the reconnect. Just reconnect your relationship with these people. That's your only focus, unless they need your services right then and they're asking and begging for it. Otherwise, make them wait till 2 weeks down the line. That's when your next call is going to pop up on autopilot, and you're going to call them then, once you get the next piece of the system down. So the note is literally to recap your call with them and talk about them. It was a pleasure meeting you today. Thank you for the opportunity to get to know you, and especially so in this case it'd be thanks for answering the phone. It was great to connect. So awesome to hear the kids are doing well, blah, blah, blah. You just kind of talk about your call, okay? Now I'm going to tell you right now, here's what's going to happen. You guys, how many of you are pretty jazzed about this so far? Like this note thing has just got you, you're bouncing out of your chair right now. Just post on there, bouncing out of my chair, okay? The first few notes that you write are going to have the words I, me, or my in them. That's okay. Just send the note, okay? Send the note. It doesn't matter. Don't start trashing 200 note cards because you said I. What's better is keep writing the notes until you get to write it without the words I, me, or my in it. Okay, so that is the simple steps. Now the last step was to start them on another plan. And I live by this law of the universe that if I have to remember to do it, it's probably not going to happen. And what is so cool about leveraging technology today is all of the really great contact management systems have these action plans or campaigns built into them. So I wanted you to see what an actual campaign looks like that runs. So, and I'm going to tell you how you use this too, so hang tight. But it's actually set up to automatically, if you look at the reconnect letter, and it says type is a letter, and it happens 0 days from the start date of this plan. So when I go to my first person in my database and I start the reconnect plan, it automatically, the computer says, hey, whoa, we got a letter ready to print, and I print the letter, and it goes into an envelope, and it gets mailed, okay? Now, if you look at the next one down, send a note card, and also the one right below it, call the follow-up call to the reconnect letter. If you look, it's a to-do and a call, and both of those happen 4 days after the plan starts. 4 days after the plan starts is 1 to 2 days of mail time, or 2 to 3 days of mail time, and then the call happens 4 days or 5 days later. Because you got to figure, when you get in front of your computer system, until you develop the right habit to look and live by your contact management dashboard, you might be doing some of these things a day or two late. But here's the cool part. When you really develop the habit to start applying this, and I'm going to show you how you can apply this to your entire database, how you guys are going to have a 1-year project right now that will double or triple your business when you get done with this call. But that will happen 4 days later. I might print that list off today, and oh my gosh, everything's falling apart by the time I print my list off. I'll make the calls later that day or first thing in the morning, because once you start using this every day, guys, the plan keeps spitting things out for you to do. The thing that I want you to understand is it's the old Pareto principle. 20% effort generates 80% results. Everything in this plan is your 20% effort. It takes 5 or 10 minutes to make a phone call, but the effect is an 80% return. That's where 80% of your income, your money, your free time comes from, is by making the phone call, not by putting out the other fire, okay? So those things happen 4 days later. So I make the call, and then I immediately send the note, and I get to check those out of my computer system when they're done. And if I don't do them, it keeps popping up every day until I get them done. And then the last step, I said there were 4 simple steps. The 4th step is to set them up on the next plan. Now, I threw in, this just shows you one little bonus one. Here's the thing. All of my plans that I create, I want as much touches as possible, but the letters and the emails I use very skimpishly, if you want to put it, if that's even a word. The letters and the emails are truly, guys, just a link between the next phone call and the next pop-by and the next personal message on a social media site where I send them a direct message, or the handwritten note. See, most of the business does not happen from the headline and the call to action. It doesn't happen in a letter. It absolutely doesn't happen in an email. You guys have been trying that plan for quite a while. It's not working. Here's another rule I live by. If it's easy, it's not going to work. And it's definitely not going to work at the level I thought it would, because hiring a company to send out 5,000 postcards every single month to neighborhoods is easy for me to do, but I only get about 5 to 10 listing appointments a month from, actually it's 15,000 homes that we mail to get 10 listing appointments. If I'm mailing 15,000 pieces every single month, I would expect 100 to 1,000 listings every single month. It's not going to ever, if it's easy, it's not going to work as well as you thought. So the last thing I did on here is I try to touch them in all senses. I want them to see something. I want them to hear. I want them to feel, like if they read a story, we send out Chicken Soup from the Soul stories, they feel. So those are like the 5 senses. The only one I haven't figured out yet is the smell. Until I figure out a scratch and sniff mailer, we don't have the smell covered yet. I'm still working on that. So here's how you do it. I want to get this all wrapped up so you can put it all in a pretty bow, tie it up, and start putting this plan into place today. Go to your database. Take all judgment out. Forget who they are. If they made it into your database, it's because you know them from somewhere, okay? You put them in that list for some reason. And if it's like a list that was handed to you by your company, there's a different program for them. But if these are people that you know, you've met somewhere along the line, past clients, whatever, guys, start with the first. Just open your database up to the first A. You create this action plan like you just saw on the last screen. Create this plan in your campaign manager so that it happens without you having to think about it. You start on the first 5 A's and you start the plan. Now, before you go away from your computer, go ahead and go to the next 5 A's and start that plan tomorrow. And go to the next 5 B's and start that plan 3 days from now. Go to the next 5 C's and start that plan 4 days from now. You guys can turn your business onto autopilot by going from A to Z through your database. Turn this plan on. You can't turn it off. You don't have to turn it off because it's only 5 a day. Nothing else should be more important than those 5 people a day. Heck, if you fall behind a day or two, it's 10 or 15 people. But you can't let it go. This is the 20% effort that generates 80% of your results. And here's the cool part. When you do 5 a day, you're going to find out you're missing a lot of information. And I'm going to put one more extra challenge. Forget about email. Email is the absolute last thing you need to worry about getting from these people because it's too easy to use. And easy doesn't get the results you want. Guys, I'm talking from personal experience. The reason I figured this thing out is because my email program and my contact management system at the time I did this didn't work properly. And I couldn't ever tell if they actually went out or not. So I said, forget this. I'm just going to do all mail. And I did all mail for 3 or 4 years, took email completely out, and my business started taking off because I knew somebody in that household saw my logo. And it was drip, 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 call, drip, 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 message, drip, 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 note, drip, 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 call. And it was the calls and the notes that amplified those results. Those people just don't get away from you anymore. But it gives you the opportunity to verify their info and all that stuff. So really, just start the plan and get people on it. Here's another great thing. Use social media. What are you doing with social media? I mean, if you saw me recently, I'm posting bunny pictures. No, I really very seldom get on social media other than it's one of my touches in another program that it's part of the ongoing follow-up process. There's actually 3 systems that I teach in this course that I wrote. I'm going to tell you guys about the course. So you can actually look at it if you want, see if it's something that you want to invest in your business or not. Whether you do or not, at least do these 4 simple steps. Please, it will double or triple your business. But in there, we talk about using social media. The cool thing here is a lot of times, if you have a small database, open your database, open your Facebook list, and see if your friends list matches your database list. Open your LinkedIn. Does your LinkedIn list match your database list? Guys, you would not believe how many people you know that you're connected with that know who you are, and you don't even have them in your database yet. You are just waiting for the competition to steal them away. You get to see who their friends are. Oh my gosh, I mean, you can actually see that they're friends with somebody who's pretty influential that you've been trying to get in touch with, and they're friends with them. So now it gives you an opportunity to call them and work on that relationship, to get introduced. There's opportunities to connect with them. They'll tell you that they're adding on to their house, or they've decided it's time to remodel their kitchen. You guys know that little white search window? You can type in remodeling our house or remodel home or any of that stuff, and you're going to find leads right away. Now, again, that's separate from what we're talking about today. Those are new leads, but if you search that and you get 500 people that are talking about remodeling, out of 500 people, I bet one person out of that 500 people are either in your friends list or they're in one of your friends' list. And this is that 6 degrees of separation deal. So you can actually use it to search for immediate business. How are we doing so far? You guys getting just a few things that you can use here? How many of you just like, oh my gosh, I'm so glad I got into the mortgage industry? So here's the hardest part.
You're giving them a fire hose, Brad.
Oh my gosh. Well, I know my time limit with you, Eric. You hold me to it, so I'm finishing up right now. What's the hardest part about the system? It's picking up the phone and calling. So here's the great thing about the system. This is what makes the system easy. Although I told you it's not easy, it's simple, right? What makes it so simple and easy is the letter sets up the call. You just call to validate that you said you were going to call. It validates you. You do what you say you're going to do. Don't make the first call about mortgage. That will be so much easier for you to make the 5 calls a day. I'm telling you, you guys challenge me on this. You send me the next 100 people you call and tell me how many of them were not happy to hear from you. That's what I want to know, because it ain't going to happen. And then that first card, no note, no nothing. So last quick thing, Eric, I just want to talk about discipline versus habits. The course that I'm going to tell you about helps you develop a discipline to do this every day. But I gave it to you. If you go through your entire database from A to Z, set the plan up, kicking it back one day for every 5 people until you're done through the whole database, even if it's going to be a year from now that this plan starts. You're not doing anything with it right now anyway, okay? If they're going to do business with you before then, they'll still do business with you before then. Keep doing what you're doing. But what happens is that will get you in the discipline of going into your database every day as long as you stick with it. That's one of the things we do in the course, because it's an 8-week course that I'm going to tell you about. And this is the thing. You guys have all heard this thing, that 21 days to create a habit. Eric, you actually just mentioned it on your Monday morning jumpstart the other day. You were talking about discipline and habits. I don't know if you guys listen to that stuff, but man, you got to listen to your Monday morning jumpstart. It's awesome stuff. You got me jump started for the day, Eric. But what Gary Keller actually figured out, they did a little more research on this, and he wrote a book called The One Thing. So if you know a real estate agent in your marketplace that's at Keller Williams, go ask them about The One Thing. They're going to get super excited, and you're going to love talking to excited real estate agents. But he talks about in there, it's actually 66 days for a habit to actually be anchored and formed. So the discipline is doing it enough till it becomes a habit, and the habit is something that you do every day. It's so easy you don't even think about it. Guys, I don't have to think about touching my database every day. I've been doing it for 7 years, okay? So make the phone ring again course. This is going to talk about getting you in the right mindset, creating the right habits. We're going to get you disciplined over the 8 weeks so that you'll create those habits. Create a simple, we're going to actually create the reconnect plan, create the follow-up system that brands you in that money spot that I was telling you about, and we're going to create those in the really super aggressive, consistent, persistent follow-up system that will keep you in that spot. And then at the very end of the course, I share some bonus plans that you can use that can actually help you run your entire business. So start with the A's, go to the Z's, mail the letter, do not remove the PS, make the call, write the note, start the next plan. And that next plan is that piece that we cover in the course if it's something that you find that would be a great investment for your business. So put on your seatbelt, guys, because you do that kind of stuff, you're going to be out of control in 2013.
Awesome.
Eric,
well, Brad, you've given us a...
Yeah, I gave you 15 minutes here.
Yeah. You're making it exciting for us. Okay, so we're going to get a ton of questions, guys, coming through. We've already had some amazing ones so far. Some of the ones I wanted to pick up first as we move into the interactive phase of this. Excuse me, guys, but first things first, there's one special thing at the very end of this call that you're going to want to make sure you stick around for. Also, I must say we probably won't have time to get through all of the questions that have been posted, but I want you to know that go ahead and post those questions anyway. We will make sure that Brad and the rest of our coaching team get those questions answered for you so you can get to the next level. But here's one of the first questions that came across, Brad, that caught my attention because it's something very near and dear to my heart, which is, you know, there's a whole bunch of buyers out there who are totally disengaged. The renters who are paying way too much money in rent, throwing it down somebody else's toilet, literally. How do you get the attention of the disengaged buyer, the person who really ought to be thinking about buying a home? What's your best strategy for trying to wake these folks up and get them to get in the game before the game disappears on them?
Man, that is a great question, and it actually really reveals itself when I'm coaching loan officers one-on-one. And what will happen is I'll have them say, for example, you know this buyer needs to get engaged. You know this is an opportunity of a lifetime. They're not going to have interest rates like this again in our lifetime. What I find that happens is it's so incredibly awesome for them that we start telling them how awesome it is. Guys, you want to have fun? Make them want to know how awesome it is. So all I'm talking about is a little mind shift here. Change the way you talk to these people, change the way you start your conversations, and play a game. Okay, you want to have fun at work, play games every day. I play little tricks and games all day long. So my game would be, okay, I got to get this buyer off the fence because they actually qualify for this. It's a great rate. So what kind of game am I going to play to get them to make me tell them how great it is? And it's just a simple change in our scripts on our phones. I just remember one coaching client, we were talking about that, and he's like, he went right into the interest rates are the lowest they've been, blah, blah, blah. And I said, why don't you change that around and just say something like, so, hey, Eric, how you doing, man? How's things going? I'm doing fine, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, hey, I was just calling, you know, I don't know about you, but what would you do with an extra $200-300 a month? Well, what do you mean? I was like, I don't know. I was just thinking of this the other day. If somebody just handed you $300 a month every month, if I just walk over to your house and give you $300 every month for the next 12 months, what the heck would you do with it? Now, here's what I want you guys to understand. I've got to be in relationship with Eric to even have a conversation like that. So it is about getting the personal phone call. It's about getting a personal note that's about them. It's about leaving your business card out of the first contact. Get into relationship with them first. And here's what I will tell you. The people who do get off the fence are the people that you really know, and they really like you, they really trust you. You've got that trust and that common bond. The people who don't, look at it. Look at it close. You don't have a trust and you don't have a common bond yet because it might be all about business on the front end. So sometimes I call my systems more like the slow boat to China. You know, we all want as much business as fast as we can get it. And I will tell you, I have done everything that every one of you have tried and haven't tried yet. And if it's easy, it is not going to work like you thought it would. If you take the time now to invest the next 5 years touching 5 people a day and getting into relationship and let the computer system keep you in touch with them more closely, you won't ever have to convince anybody to get off the fence. I hope that's kind of the answer. That's the answer you need to hear. I hope that's kind of ringing true to what you were, that it makes sense after today's webinar.
Definitely, definitely. And guys, you know, it's especially important to me on the folks that are on the high index markets, the coastal markets, Southern California's, the northeastern areas, you know, where property values are going to likely start skyrocketing here in the short period of time. Fact of the matter is, interest rates climb up 10%, 10 to 100 to 150 basis points interest rate up a point and a half. Property values, go up another 10 to 15%. There's a whole host of focus out of there that all of a sudden homes are going to be out of reach for another 3 to 5 years. So it is something that I'm very passionate about getting the word out about, and there's some upcoming information. Next week's webinar, we're going to go into that in a lot more detail, but I love some of the ideas that Brad has started with here, with just how to connect with these folks, have some fun with it, talk to them about what's important to those folks. How are they going to benefit? You know,
well, Eric,
a couple $100 a month, that sense of security, and all those kind of concepts. Yeah, go ahead.
Let me jump in there with what you just said, Eric, because you're talking about if the interest rate goes up 1%, it's like on a $180,000 house, you're paying $10,000 more for the same house. So how many of you can walk up to a brother, a sister, an uncle, an aunt, your mom, your dad, they know you're in mortgage, and you say, listen to me, Dad, this is going to cost you $10,000 if you don't listen to me this time. And you don't even have to pay me anything, okay? That's not the trick. But, Dad, you've got to do this. You've got to refi now or buy this house now. It will save you $10,000. Now, when your dad listens to you, more of your relatives will listen to you when you're saying that. You want to get all your other relationships to that level. Not necessarily your mom or your dad, but that they will listen to you when you say, you're not calling to say, hey, you need to buy this house and get a new mortgage or do a purchase. You're calling to say, dude, I just figured out how to save you $10,000. What do you mean? Well, let me tell you. Let's get together for coffee and make them wait. You'll make them want it. Make them want your information that you want to tell them.
Awesome. Awesome idea, Brad. Okay, guys, I'm going to run through a couple of quick upcoming announcements that you need to stick around for, and then there's one little special sauce secret at the end of the webinar that you're going to want to make sure you hang out for. Guys, by the way, keep posting your questions. We will make sure that we get those answered for you. That will get you a team going here. A couple of things to be watching for in the upcoming couple of weeks. As Brad alluded to a couple of different times, that he's got a new series that's going to be started. He's put together a special training program where he's going to be walking you all the way through in great detail the step-by-step process of building this system for you in your practice. We're calling it a web shop because what's going to happen is we're actually going to give you the tools and resources, and Brad is going to, in an 8-week program, 1 week at a time, one step at a time, walk you through how to do this in your specific business. And that program is where we're going to you're going to walk away from it having everything you need in place already. Go ahead and do it. The second thing that you're going to get access to is you're going to get, if you go to Brad's website, which we don't have the actual posted website here, but we'll make sure we get it in the follow-up. If you go to the MakeThePhoneRingAgain.com website, you'll be able to sign up for the Register Now or sign up here, and then you'll get the free system that the memory joggers, the videos, the entire grip system for the 8x8 33 touch system, including Brad's reconnect letter that he mentioned today. Some free grants.
Eric,
just thank you for investing your time.
We will send that out to all the attendees. They'll get that in an email link.
Okay, cool. So you won't even have to go to the website to get that stuff. If you are interested in really getting the tactical, making the time commitment and investment, getting the step-by-step hands-on guidance to really get this system up and running and automated and working properly for you and your unique specific business environment, you're welcome to join in and invest your time and resources into getting this program going. Brad kind of twisted his arm. As you guys know, I like to get stuff out to our audience at a super discount. And he originally said he was going to give you $50 off, and then what were you saying about you were talking to me?
Oh my gosh, you guys. Okay. Yeah, so here's what's scary. I'm this agent who's supposed to be able to do numbers. You guys are mortgage people. I know you guys have had one of those nights where you worked late and you knew you should have grabbed your calculator out. Okay, so this is broke down into 2 payments to make it easy. And so I was going to give $50 off. And because it's maximum acceleration, I'm even more excited that I messed up on this one because I love what Eric's doing. I love being a part of this organization. I love working with top loan officers. But I gave you $50 off each month. So it's actually, I screwed up on my math calculations, but you're actually going to get $100 off. That's, I mean, I've never even offered the $50 off, let alone $100. So that's my mess up, but hey, I'm going to back it up.
Okay, hey guys, keep in mind, this is an 8-week course that's going to start on April 22nd, which is a Monday. It's going to be middle of the day. I think we set it up at, 12:30, 1 o'clock in the afternoon is where it's going to start Central Time. So it's right in the middle of your day. Take an hour out, eat your lunch while you're going through the workshop. Brad's going to give you all the tools step by step to get you set up and rolling. What's the total investment for the program, Brad, if they go ahead and take advantage of this opportunity today?
Well, it's 2 payments of $197, and here's what we're going to do. We were going to do that till the webinar ended, but because this is always the last slide, and I want you guys to, like, if you go to the site, there's a couple things, a couple of videos you can watch. We'll leave the new $100 discount on there until about an hour after the webinar. Even then, it goes up to $247 is just ridiculous. $247 a month, I believe. $247 a month for 2 months. And you're getting 8 one-hour calls, and they are jam-packed. And I broke it down so simple, just like today. I broke it down so simple because as a coach and as a trainer, I don't want to overwhelm you with tons of homework to do or things that you can't ever apply. Guys, in 8 weeks, you have 2 or 3 action items to work on between that call and the next call. And if you follow this plan, I mean, I start with a 4-step plan, then we do an 8-step plan, then you do the big plan. And the big plan will be nothing after you've done these other 2. So it's actually completely designed to get you into habit and to develop the plan so that all you have to do is start feeding your database every day and your business will grow. It's so simple, it's crazy.
Well, absolutely, guys. Well, I'll tell you one other thing. I'm sure many of you are asking the question about it, okay, so you don't want to actually wait the 8 weeks. Maybe you're more intense than that. Maybe you're a get-it-done kind of guy, and you're the 1%ers who really want to make a huge difference in your business. I'm sure many of you are thinking about what is this whole coaching thing? What does one-on-one coaching involve? What are the commitments and investment involved? Well, the practical reality is we've been doing this for about 9 years, and we figured out that the easiest and fastest way to help people truly understand the value of coaching and what it could do for you in your business is to experience it. So we put together a simple thing we call a strategy session. There's no cost or obligation. You'll get, for the investment of your time, you'll get a real coaching experience. You'll go all the way through it on one specific topic or issue that you want some help with, and you'll leave the call with a solid action plan and tools to make a difference in that one area of your business. From there, if you're interested in pursuing it deeper on a one-on-one level, we'll talk a little bit more about the investment required and some of the commitments on both sides of the relationship and what that looks like as part of that strategy session program. But if you're interested in taking advantage of one of those strategy sessions, all you really need to do is either go to the website, mxlcoach.com/strategy, or you could go ahead and post in the Q&A and chat section of the webinar platform right now that you'd like to go ahead and have one of those calls. They are filled on a first-come, first-served basis, by the way. There's only a handful of these sessions a week that we can offer. So if you want to go ahead and take advantage of that, go ahead and post the best phone number and email address for our team to get a hold of you so they can coordinate scheduling of one of those sessions. Now, the last thing I was going to mention to you is next week, just wanted to give you a quick heads up, we are doing a mega webinar for the Mortgage Success Source family of companies and the National Mortgage Professionals magazine. We are doing a mega webinar program. Myself and Coach Brad Korn are hosting a all-star lineup panel of how to power up your purchase promotion. So, it's kind of a baseball theme to this thing. We were brainstorming different ways. We all know that we need to change the game this year. We all know that we need to focus on the fact that, and I'm going to challenge you all right now that are thinking about this. What would your pipeline look like if tomorrow interest rates went up to 5.5%? Think about that for just a second. How many loans would disappear from your pipeline if interest rates were at 5.5%? If you're not focusing on and building for a purchase-based business model right now, you're missing. You're going to be essentially, you're putting yourself in a very negative position. There's also a huge opportunity. We talked about this narrowing window of opportunity for buyers as the real estate markets begin to take off and as interest rates climb back again and home affordability begins to deteriorate again. We have this very narrow window of opportunity. So I want to invite all of you to join us. Next week's webinar is actually going to be a 90-minute program that Coach Brad and I are going to host with this all-star panel lineup, some of the top originators in the company with some creative, unique, and awesome strategies to be able to really get you the nuts and bolts you need to take your purchase business to a whole other level this year. Now, last thing, but most importantly, don't waste the time you've invested. Brad has given you some amazing ideas today. The only problem is if you leave them here in this webinar and you go off and answer your next phone call and disappear, are those ideas going to do anything for you whatsoever in your business? You've already invested the time to absorb this information. Don't waste it. Take one idea that you got from this program and do something with it. Take action. Before you answer your next phone call, before you look at that next email, before you step out of your office to use the bathroom and get interrupted on the hallway back by a colleague, make a decision what you're going to do with the ideas that Brad shared with you today. Pick just one thing you want to do your best idea, your best takeaway from today's program. Decide what it was. You can always go back and get the other stuff later. Then decide what action do you need to take to make that a part of your daily business. Maybe it's going ahead and hopping to that website, coachkorn.com/mortgage, and signing up for the 8-week boot web shop program to help you build your automated touch and reconnect system. Maybe it's reaching out for one of those strategy sessions and letting, getting some help and guidance on your biggest challenge in your business right now. Maybe it's taking that plan and starting with Brad's simple 5-a-day reconnect or the handwritten note card idea, whatever it is. Decide how you're going to make yourself accountable to following through on that action and by when you're going to have it done, which is that third step in this putting it in play process. The fourth step, the magic secret to implementation, is accountability. The magic trick, the secret sauce, whatever you want to call it, is decide somebody you know, trust, and care about and ask them to hold you accountable to following through on this action plan that you're creating right now. Okay? The whole idea is, think about the running buddy concept. You decide you want to go out and jog January 1st as a New Year's resolution, you want to lose some weight. January 5th rolls around, you're tired, you're sore, it's nasty weather outside, you roll back over, you hit the snooze button and go back to sleep. But let's say you started that plan with a running buddy. It's January 4th, you're tired, you're sore, it's nasty weather outside, but you know your buddy's going to be on your doorstep at 5:30 in the morning to take you jogging. So you get up and get ready anyway. It's so much easier to keep promises we make to other people. So find somebody to hold you accountable. So a colleague, a spouse, a manager, a boss, an owner of a company that you work for, somebody that you trust and have a tremendous amount of respect for, that when you make a promise that you're going to do something, if you don't follow through on it, you're going to feel like a total jerk. And you're going to feel guilty. And that level of personal commitment and fear of being embarrassed or that guilty feeling will hold you accountable to following through, even if it doesn't seem like fun at first. So that's our challenge for today. By the way, guys, again, continue to post the questions in the Q&A section. Make sure that if you are interested in receiving one of those no cost, no obligation strategy sessions, just go ahead and give us the best phone number and email address to reach out to you and connect. There's one final question in here. Is the reconnect letter? Yep.
Eric, while you're doing that, will you go back to that other slide just so that, because we've had a couple people that just wanted the website again to get more information about the class. And I do want to make one clarification where it says down at the bottom, regular $247, it's $247 2 months for 2 months. The actual class is $494 for the whole class, but I want to make sure that was clear. When you go to coachkorn.com/mortgage, you'll actually, it's through PayPal, so if you have a problem using PayPal, just a handful of people typically do, contact me directly at brad@coachkorn.com and we'll run that separate. But trust me, I've been using it for years, have never had an issue with anybody who's ever processed anything through there. You just put your normal credit card in and all that stuff. You don't have to have a PayPal account. That will, once you do that, that will take you to the registration page for the class, and that starts April 22nd. But I just want to make sure it's $247 a month for 2 months. So, because I know we got number guys on there, and they're like $197 a month or $247 for 8 sessions. There was a typo there. So
yeah, something that, yeah, obviously caught it off guard a little bit, but that's okay. Hey, Brad's a great teacher and a great coach when it comes to implementation. Even if he's not the best numbers guy, we'll all give him a little grace for that, right? And it's like I always make the joke when I'm doing presentations. It's like, hey, I got in the mortgage business 15 years ago. I don't know how to do math without a calculator anymore. Anyway, all right, guys. So, a couple of great things that I want you to take away from today's call. Make the commitment to follow through and take action on the ideas and strategies. If you want one of those one-on-one sessions, it's mxlcoach.com/strategy. If you want to be able to participate in Brad's web shop program, that 8-week program where we will walk you through one step at a time how to get this system up and running in your business, go ahead and hop to this coachkorn.com/mortgage, and you can get registered right there for the class. It starts on April 22nd. Otherwise, if there's other questions or comments that you'd like a quick answer to, go ahead and post those questions in the Q&A right now. We'll leave this platform open for just a few more minutes to be able to make sure you get all those questions into the Q&A log. so that our team can follow up with afterwards. Also, if you do want one of those strategy sessions, go ahead and post that into the Q&A with the best number for our team to contact you to coordinate scheduling. Beyond that, Mr. Brad, I'm going to let you kind of close this out here. Any final thoughts, comments, ideas, strategies you want to leave with today?
Yeah, here's the thing, guys. We hear about discipline all the time, and Gary Keller is one of my mentors, and he wrote the book The One Thing, and in there he really talks about discipline is a lie. Nobody can live a happy, disciplined life. Discipline and doing something every single day, every day is not fun. The purpose of discipline is to develop a habit over that 66 days to where it just happens. So he's got a couple of quotes in the book that's coming out. Actually, it just came out Monday. When you go to my website, you can actually buy it right from there, too, or go to Amazon. That's what I link you back to. But here, listen to a couple quotes. These really hit me strong. Success is actually a short race. It's a sprint fueled by discipline just long enough for habit to kick in and take over. And then the other part he said is, you can become successful with less discipline than you think for one simple reason. Success is about doing the right thing, not about doing everything right. So that is one of the things that when this book came out, I was just like, this is the one thing. No matter what business you are in, if your phone isn't ringing, if people aren't calling you for business, you are out of business, or you are out there pounding the streets looking for the next deal. So this is where I say, keep doing what you're doing, because obviously whatever you're doing has been working enough to keep you in the mortgage industry as long as you've been in, but add this piece. It is the one thing, and we will help you make it it's so simple to become a habit when you go through these 8 weeks. You'll develop most of the habits you need to get that sprint, to keep that race going. So this is just the discipline piece to get you going to where the habit will be formed.
Awesome. Well, guys, thank you for joining us today's program. We're going to go ahead and close this out. Thank you again for investing the time, and I want you to congratulate yourselves for being a participant in this program on a regular basis. Those of you, you're welcome back every week. You can find out more about the upcoming webinar series at our website, www.mxlcoach.com/webinars. It's the ongoing schedule, so even if you can't join us next week, which, by the way, register for the program is the easiest way to catch it on video as well. Even if you're not sure you're going to be able to attend, you can also subscribe to our YouTube channel, which as soon as we post one of those things on our YouTube channel, ECHNESCO, my YouTube channel, we're working on getting the company page up enough where we can get these longer videos posted on our company page, our YouTube channel. Anyway, guys, I just want to challenge you once again to take action with the ideas and strategies that you've heard about today. Make the most of the time you've invested in today's program by actually doing something with it that's going to change your business. If there's anything my team or I can do to help you in that process, do not hesitate to reach out to us and let us know or ask. We're here to help you. That's our entire goal and focus is getting you from where you are to where you want to go as fast as humanly possible.